Bullshit.
It's depressing when you look at this particular genre of anime. Anything to do with sports and anime have been receiving a bad rap for years, perhaps in tandem with the thought that since sports video games are just the same drivel year after year, and the only people that seem to enjoy real-life sports are those that have been fans for a very long period of time, that anything sports-related in an anime will be as boring and uninteresting to the casual viewer as the aforementioned sports-related things. Just look at the baseball drama Big Wind-Up. Despite having multiple seasons, receiving fairly decent reviews, and being an all-around decent show, Funimation has absolutely no intention of importing more than the first season to North America. And why is this? Because sports anime does not sell. And anime fans can't seem to be arsed to try anything sports-related, maybe with some ingrained thought that, no, sports are only meant for jocks and the like. You know, jocks, those guys that used to beat you up and steal your lunch money, and you, being a stereotypical nerd, should have nothing to do with stuff that they like. And let me tell you something, if this is indeed your mindset when it comes to sports-related anime, then you better stop watching My Little Pony, because you definitely aren't a little girl either.
Well, duh.
Bamboo Blade is a sports anime that does not heavily rely on its featured sport to be entertaining. Unlike shows like Angelic Lair, where the main focus of the plot is the progression of a major tournament to completion, Bamboo Blade instead focuses on the main characters rather than the tournaments, leaving the tournaments to be just a sidelined plot point. The show takes place at Moroi High, because, you know, what doesn't take place at a high school these days? And we follow the exploits of the school's kendo team, its current lack of members, and its teacher advisor who's more broke than I am after an anime con. The major arc at the beginning of the show is that a bet occurs between Moroi's advisor and his senpai, who coincidentally is the advisor to not one, but two schools simultaneously. The bet that they make turns into a non-traditional dick-off, as it becomes a competition of who can train the better kendo team. And it's here that we get a feeling for the motivations behind Moroi's advisor, since he agrees to this bet regardless of only having a fifth of a total kendo team to compete with at the time. So the first 10 episodes of Bamboo Blade consist of finding 4 more members to recruit to the team, so that we can make constant Super Sentai references, because that is what you do when you have 5 teenagers with attitude. Some with more attitude than others. So we have Kirino, the hyperactive leader, with leader in quotation marks, Sayako, the wannabe musical artist, Mia, the quite literal Jekyll and Hyde, Azuma, the show's version of Where's Waldo, and Tama, the miracle genius child who fights for justice and never loses, giving me another character to add to my list of patients suffering from Takumi syndrome.
Yay.
The heart and soul of Bamboo Blade is not in fact the kendo battles, which should not by any stretch of the imagination be your reasoning for watching this show, nor is the pretty pictures, even though the animation in Bamboo Blade is gorgeous. No, the heart and soul of the show is the character development and the quirky humor that makes you smile from time to time, because, you know, watching characters that have the statistical probability of existing in the same place at the same time is somewhere between world peace and receiving a one-way trip to Milliways never loses its appeal. The character development plots are really well put together, the ones for Mia and Tama being the highlights. Mia starts off as a person who never really saw the appeal in kendo, only to realize that it was the perfect way to let out her inner demon and frustrations onto the world. And Tama is from a kendo family, and as such has always considered kendo to be more of a job or a chore rather than a sport that she could enjoy. But with the help of her teammates, eventually comes around to thinking of kendo as a very fun activity to enjoy with friends. On the downside, though, it is depressing that other main characters such as Saya and Azuma never really get a plot focus, and it would have been interesting to dive into their particular characters a little more besides the surface view of a failing magician and that random background girl who makes an appearance every couple of episodes before finally becoming a main character. But it's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just more of a disappointed sentiment from a guy who wishes the show went on longer. The guy is me, by the way. Just in case you're wondering. As far as the dub goes, even by Funimation standards, Bamboo Blade is very well scripted and acted, making a high point in my watching career as a show that was able to break the mold for me. I usually have a habit of sticking to the language in which I saw a show first. In this case, I watched Bamboo Blade in Japanese when it first came out in Japan. But in the case of this show, I can say that I have absolutely no problem in watching the English, and actually, in some cases, I actually prefer the English. If the show had a lot more technical dialogue towards the sport of kendo itself, I would probably heavily lean towards the dub over the sub, but at this juncture, I think both are very good in their own ways, and you can decide for yourself depending on your own personal preferences. And besides, kendo's pretty easy to follow along anyway.
Listen up, freshmen! That old nonsense about kendo being played out is
bunch of baloney. No, 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 au contraire, mon frère. Viva la kendo!
The most depressing thing I feel with Bamboo Blade is the sudden hint of a second season in the very, very final moments of the show. And this is something that annoys me because the ending was doing ridiculously well. You all know that to me, the ending is paramount, so I was looking really forward to this doing as well as it was, because we were getting down, it was only like 2 or 3 minutes left, it was ending, it was nice, solid, complete, I was happy, and then in the final moments, hey guys! There could be a season 2! Oh my god, wouldn't that be amazing? Ah! No, it would not. Because since Bamboo Blade was released back in 2007, a second season at this point, being 2012, is very unlikely. Why do shows do that? Seriously? Moving on. As much as Bamboo Blade focuses on the sport of kendo and those who practice it, it's not necessarily about kendo itself, which is refreshing and easy to follow for someone who does not really know the sport itself beyond what the show tells you. What makes it great are the characters and how they interact with one another and the obstacles ahead of them. Basically, Bamboo Blade is a sports anime for non-sports fans, because you don't really need to care about kendo to care about the characters. Thankfully, it also has a pretty good dub to boot, so you know what I say? I say buy it. It's a refreshing change of pace from both the hardcore action romps and the overplayed fanservice shows filling up the market, and it's worth its place on anyone's shelf. But if you've seen it and you're looking for something more, check out Big Wind-Up. You might enjoy that too, or you could basically check out every 5-man Sentai show in existence. Granted, Bamboo Blade is a lot more tamer than those are on the action front, so enjoy yourselves with it. And until next time, ladies, gentlemen, and others, stay frosty.